What's up, everybody? Welcome to my tutorial for Tekken 7's Katarina. This will be a short and sweet video for a tall and sassy lady. There's not a lot to talk about. It's a very, very straightforward character. She has a couple of moves that are really, really good that stand out, and everything else is just kind of a basic complementary set. There's not a ton of variety in her options. She has the basic tools she needs to do the stuff she wants to pull off, to fish for her counter hits or to set up her lows. That's really all there is to it. It's as simple as can be. She's meant for beginner characters, but she actually has a pretty high ceiling in terms of being able to win at higher and higher levels. She's not as easy to blow up as you might think for a beginner character. 10 frames, she has a basic 1-2. There's nothing unusual there. She has 1-1 into options if you wanted to do that. There's a ton of different moves you can follow that up with. So it's up to you to go for different mix-ups to keep them guessing, or just 1-2 and stop. You probably get a little better frame advantage off the 1-2, but 1-1 gives you all the follow-ups to keep them guessing. So you can go either way with that. Keep it simple or go right for mix-ups from your jab. 12 frames, she has 2-2. Which is pretty good. It's good damage. It's got really nice range on it. It's high, and it's unsafe, so you better be careful that you don't miss your punish. It'll wall splat too, so it's a pretty good one for 12 all around. She also has forward 2-4, which is 12 frames, but it's really hard to do that in 12 frames unless you buffer that input just perfect. It's a little bit more damage, and it's a farther knockdown, but there's not too many reasons I could think of that you wouldn't want to just use 2-2. Maybe its range is a little bit better if you're far away. So it's up to you to figure out how you need to execute that forward 2-4, and if you even need to do so. So just stick with 2-2. 13 frames. She has down forward 1-1, which is a weak amount of damage, but it can go into her Harrier stance to get a little bit of continued offense from that point if you want it. Damage-wise, it's not as good as just sticking with your 2-2, but it does give you a better offensive option by following up with Harrier. 14 frames, she has back 1-2, but again, weak damage, you're better off just sticking with 2-2. 2-2 works better for almost all your punishment needs. You can use back 1 and just go into Harrier that way for a 14 frame punish, but I don't know. Stick to either just raw punishment damage with a 2-2 or use your down forward 1-1 to go that way and get offense. 15, she has a hop kick, up forward 4-4. It's a multiple hit. It has all those hits after it. You only need to do the first 2 to get your combo. It causes an automatic bounce state like Elise's hop kick does. The first 2 hits let you get a combo from there. You can do more and still get combo options, but it's up to you to play with what you feel more comfortable doing. I'll go over a couple of different combos later, but really those first 2 is all that you need. She can keep going, and it doesn't stop her from getting punished if the hop kick fails. Even if they block these first 2 and she goes on to the 3rd hit, they can interrupt that 3rd hit. So they're going to punish this no matter what. So it still feels like a regular hop kick. Her only other punisher worth mentioning is down forward 2-2. It's 17 frames because of its really good range. I don't know if it can punish Death Fist at the furthest extremes, but it can punish a lot of things. She takes a nice lunge forward with that. So if you're pretty sure you're out of range for a basic hop kick, down forward 2-2 will probably punish. So play around with its range, go to practice mode and see what kind of things you can reach with it and what you can't. But I bet you'll be surprised at how far down forward 2-2 reaches. Her while standing punishers are straightforward. Her 4 is 11 frames. Nothing remarkable there. 13 is a while standing 1-1, which is essentially the same string as her down forward 1-1. Same speed, same frame data, and goes into Harrier. So that's a pretty good tool. To punish the 13 and get the offensive options from that point, that's not bad. Or to just go into Harrier and, cancel into nothing. And stop and fake them out that way. And then 15, she gets a launch with her while standing 2. Or she can just do a hop kick since it's an up input. The only other thing she has at 16 is while standing 3-3-3-3-3. The same as her standing 3-3-3-3-3-3. You can just do it from while standing position. So that wouldn't be too practical that I could think of. If you're blocking something that's 15 or 16, you should be able to just hit him with the hop kick. I think that would be preferred. There's not like a big difference in range for your while standing 3 versus the while standing 2 for a launch. So it's there if you feel like it, but anything that you block that's 15 or more, you should be able to get a nice easy launch. So I wouldn't worry about selective range or anything to go for anything but that. It should work. Katarina's Harrier stance is pretty straightforward as far as stances go, and not really all that practical. She takes a lunge forward. You can do it by itself by just pressing forward 4. She'll take that long lunge forward, and then she follows up with 5 options. 1 for each button, and then a 5th one. Her 1 is a high little slap. Her 2 is a mid overhead slap that causes a nice knockdown, but isn't safe on block. This is minus 14. It'll get you punished pretty hard if they had to block that. It's only there to keep them honest if they start to duck your jab. If you do quick little strings like that, it can be hard for them to like get used to your rhythm. So they want to try to start ducking the high or ducking the low in anticipation. So that mid exists just to keep them honest, but it is unsafe for you. So 1's a high jab, 2 is a mid that knocks down, 3 is a low. She jumps in the air and then drops down quickly. So it does have a little bit of a tell. It's still really hard to read. When it's coming at you fast, that low is just on you real quick. It can be kind of hard to detect sometimes. Once you get used to it, you'll start to block it more and more, and it will be launch punishable if you block that one. Her 4 out of Harrier stance is the big damage lunging knee. Also unsafe, but only minus 12, which isn't too bad. You're not going to want to just throw this out in open offense necessarily. It's more for combo purposes, but it does exist. It's there if you want to get that little extra distance just by keeping them honest. If they start ducking you repeatedly, start throwing out the mids. Her other option is up forward 3, which is that. It's the same animation as her forward 3. Basically, her running 3 serves the same job. So out of this Harrier stance, you can do that, which would be a safe mid option too. It's just the slowest out of the bunch, so they could interrupt it before she does so. So you got options. You got high, mid, knockdown lows, safe mids, slow mids, whatever you might be. It's up to you to keep them honest by using all of these. But in general, I don't think it's a great offensive tool because most options, they can stop you from doing it in between. It depends on what you do. If you want to continue to crush highs, you can do the 2. If you think you're going to jab them out, you can go for the low, which will go over their low pokes. So you kind of have to just play that game of will they or won't they versus ducking and interrupting and all of that. You have the options, the high, mid, low, safe options to deal with it. It's just up to you to not get yourself blown up and try to keep them honest. The moves that go into her Harrier stance by just holding forward are down forward 1-1 string that we mentioned earlier, which is the same as her while standing 1-1 string. Basically the same animation, you just hold forward, go into Harrier. Her 1-1 jabs do the same thing. Just jab into Harrier, get you there a little bit quicker. So you can use that off a punish situation too, just 1-1 into Harrier, or down forward 1-1 into Harrier to start off with a mid. She can do it out of her down 2, a bigger gut punch that crushes highs. She can go into Harrier from that. She can do it from back 1, which is a nice little mid poke that gets offense quick and right away. It's going to be hard for them to react to the timing of stuff like that. That one quick little poke right into the stance can be a little deceiving. There's not a lot of time for them to think, so that's actually a really good option to use. A 14 frame mid right into the stance mix-up. That's not bad at all. The other 2 ways are 4-4-4. You have to do all 3 hits and then Harrier that way. It has its uses. You get the combo off of the counter hit. But other than that, it's just kind of another little mix-up tool. In general, when I want to fish for the counter hit, I'll just do 2 hits. You get a combo like that. So most of the time when I'm just throwing it out, I'm just throwing out 2 hits. So if you happen to do 3 hits, you can go into Harrier and continue to mix them up, keep their rhythm off balance, which is important. And you can also do the same thing off of the hop kick. The 4th hit of the hop kick, up forward 4-4, 4-4. The 4th hit only can go into the Harrier like that. So that one is less practical because when they see that hop kick and they're blocking it, they're going to interrupt the 3rd hit no matter what. If they don't interrupt the 3rd hit, you can go to the 4th hit and Harrier from there. But that's not a really useful strategy either. You're going to do this 2nd hit to get the combo, and if they block that, they're gonna stop you short of your third hit anyway. It does exist if you need it. I think 444 is a little more practical use, but nowhere near as good as the back one. So she got a half a dozen ways to cancel moves into Harrier. Some are better than others. I think the jab jab and the back one are the most practical, and the hop kick variation is the least practical. So as far as the rest of Katarina's moves go, there's not a huge ton of variety here, but there is a nice little system in place for how she wants to bait you for her bigger attacks. Her jab strings are pretty complex. Her basic 1-1 can go into Harrier, as we mentioned. It can also go into 4 different follow-ups at the end. 1-1-1 is a mid-ender that's safe on block. You're thinking to yourself, why in the world would the mid version be safe? We'll just wait till you see the next one, which is the high version, 1-1-2. That's +7 on block. +7 is an astounding number for a block string like that. They can duck that one. They know you want to use that frame trap, so they can duck it. So the 1-1-1 mid exists just to keep them honest, but that would usually make the mid unsafe, right? You have to take a little bit of a gamble there. You either get a good frame trap or you back yourself up. In this case, the mid one is only -5, and the high is +7. That's a huge tool for her to have. 1-1-3 is also a safe mid, but it's very slow. If they feel gutsy, they can interrupt that, but they probably won't. So you want to use the 1-1-2 to get that giant frame advantage, to maybe fish for a counter hit or a quick low. And you have 2 safe mids to back that option up as well. So that's really kind of powerful. You can mess with that all day. And as soon as you see them block that 2, you fish for a counter hit or whatever it is. The 4th option, 1-1-4, will launch them. If they're going to just straight up duck to try to beat out your frame trap, the 1-1-4 will launch them in exchange for being -17. So that's the one that makes sense. Her fake out launcher option is also launch punishable. So that seems to kind of balance it all out. So you don't necessarily need that one. You're better off just hedging your bet with the 1-1-1 to just pop them real quick with a mid and stay completely safe on your own. Otherwise, you don't want to take the risk of getting launched yourself just for that one quick little setup when you could have gotten away with nothing. So 1-1-2 is the nice frame trap. 1-1-1 is the quickest way to back that up. Her other jab strings are just 1-2, which doesn't really do anything different. You're better off 1-1 and going for the Harrier mix-up or the straight-up mix-up that way. And 1-4 is the high-low. That doesn't jail or anything. They can block that low, but going to have a hard time doing it. Her jab strings are going to keep you on your toes so often that low is basically just going to be free damage. So 1-1 follows up with 4 different options and the Harrier, and 1-4 goes low right away. So that's a pretty good complement of jab strings, just to keep them honest, keep them off balance, force them into ducking when they don't want to, and also has one huge frame trap in it for you to use when you've got them right where you want them. Her other neutral input normals are the 2-2 that we saw in the punishment section. 12 frames, wall splat, pretty good move all around. 2-2 is nice to have. Just be careful when you miss it. You don't want to throw it out wildly and pay the price for it. 3-3-3-3-3 is another pretty good move. All 5 hits of these are natural. It's unsafe at the end, but what you find out is the first 3 are safe on block. So whenever you want to throw this out, you just do 3-3-3. And by the time you see it that it hit, you can just mash out the rest of it. And if you see that it got blocked, you just stop there. So you just throw out 3-3-3. And as soon as you see it connect, mash out the rest of the 3 or do nothing. So that third hit will be completely safe on block. There's no reason for you to finish the string and get it blocked. You can see in plenty of time that your first 3 hits connected and then mash out the other 2. So that's a pretty nice tool to have. You get 44 damage, is it? Off of a safe mid. That's pretty nice to have. It's essentially safe once you learn a really easy hit confirm. So learn that and you'll be golden. That's a nice little arsenal to have. Just get a big chunk of damage whenever you need it and stay safe. You're going to see that a lot in her. She's got good mids that turn out to be safe and get her a nice chunk of easy damage. So once you learn to minimize their risks, they turn out to be really good moves. 3-4, on the other hand, is mid-high. You can't really hit confirm that. It's just a knockdown if you were looking for a knockdown instead. If you found like a nice little whiff punish, you might just want to do that to get a knockdown. It's up to you. This is a little bit more damage, and trust me, it's easy to hit confirm. You might be better off to just do that all day and forget that this exists, but it does if you need to knock down. 3-4 works too. 4-4-4-4-4 is the same kind of thing. 5 kicks that all come out of it. The second hit is safe. The third hit is a high, but it's going to jail you. If you watch the timing of the third hit, that comes out really quick. Hits 2 and 3 are just boom, boom. You're not going to be able to duck that third hit. So essentially, those third hits are all safe to that point. So you can throw them out as much as you want to, and if you get the counter hit, if you get the Magic 4 counter hit, either 2 hits or 3 hits will work just fine and can preserve your combo. You can get a combo either way. I tend to just throw out 2 hits, 4-4, 2-2, and there's your combo. You can do the third hit if you want to, and still do the combo that way. It's up to you. So that way it keeps them guessing which hit you're going to perform. Both are safe. The second hit is safe, and the third hit is fundamentally safe too. So you can throw that out all day and get a combo on counter hit without taking any risks. 4-4, 4-4-4 doesn't really seem to be good for all that much. You know, it's not going to be a natural combo. If you got counter hit in the beginning, you can just, you know, you're going to stop. You're going to do 2 or 3 hits and get a combo that way. So the whole string is not super practical, but it's there. I wouldn't rely on using it too much. You really want to just feed off the 2 hits or the 3 hits into Harrier, if that's what you like. Her forward input moves, she doesn't have forward jabs or 2 jabs or anything like that. The only thing she has is a forward 3, which is that orbital heel kick that causes the knockdown. And forward 4 goes right into her Harrier stance. Both kicks, forward 3 plus 4, is this mid power crush that I think is also launch punishable. This is unnecessarily bad on block. It's got really good range. That reaches from pretty far, but it's a big risk just to get pressure off you via power crush. So this is kind of one of her weaknesses. It's not a good move to deal with rush down and pit bullying. It's there, but it's not very good, to be honest. It's kind of a risk. Forward 3 plus 4, I think, is her only power crush. So that's kind of the drawback to it, is this is your only way and you're taking a big risk to do it. Forward 1 plus 2 is this headbutt, which is unsafe on block, but it's not a bad move anyway. You get a nice little knockdown. It's a pretty useful move if you want to kind of just like keep them at that range. It will get punished here and there when they start catching on to it, so don't use it a ton. But she doesn't have anything else for forward inputs. Her only forward move is that in the stance. Down forward, she has the 1-1s into the Harrier and all of that. Down forward 2-2 is the nice long range punisher we talked about. This is mid-mid, and it's only -10, which is pretty good for a mid-mid that knocks down. That's not a bad option. Down forward 2-4, however, is a high that's +2. So they start blocking that and realize it's a frame trap. They want to start ducking that, which gives you better usage out of the 2-2, the mid version. And even then, it's only -10. So again, that's a really nice trade-off in the frame department for her. To have the situation that's going to make the opponent want to duck, and then when they block your mids instead, she doesn't take a huge kind of risk. That's kind of a nice system to have. Most characters, when they do the mid version to cover their bases, are going to eat like a -12 or a -13. Hers are pretty good. Down forward 3-3 is this little number, a mid-low string that she can cancel. She can just press down to cancel that hit and stop right there. If she does so, she'll be completely safe. They shouldn't be able to poke her out of what she does. I'm not completely sure if she stops and goes for a while standing 4, how quick it actually is. If the opponent sees this and they want to go down to duck that low and do their own while standing 4, I think Katarina can still win. I think she cancels this actually relatively quickly. I'm not 100% sure. But you can try it out in the lab and see exactly how much you get. It depends on how quickly your opponent reacts to ducking that. I mean, they have to respect that, so they're going to have to duck. And once they duck, you should be in control of the situation because they're reacting to you. So she cancels very quickly. Your while standing 4 should beat them in most cases, unless they were really on top of you and they were, you know, reading your every move and they ducked early. The first down forward 3 is safe by itself, but if you go ahead and let it rip and they block that low, it's launch punishable. So you're going to want to cancel it most of the time just to keep them guessing. Just because they're going to see this move and they know the low exists, they're going to start to duck. You don't want to get it blocked. So go ahead and just go with the cancels. And then go low again if you want to. That can also work. You know, you're going to keep them guessing. They have to respect your low so much that you'll stay in control of the situation. Her down forward 4 is one of her best counter hit fishers. This is a 15 frame mid that'll launch on counter hit. Get a nice crumple stun, get whatever you want from there. The basic thing you're going to see is her 1-1-2 into that. Because that's +7 on block. This is only 15. It wouldn't be interruptible. If they do anything, they get counter hit by it. So people are going to know that 1-1-2 is so severely plus. They're not going to press buttons, but you might as well just throw this out, just in case they do. And if they don't, you haven't lost anything. You're still completely safe. If they do press the button, you get a nice 85 damage combo for it. So down forward 4 is a surprisingly good range for a knee. It's got decent range, and you get the safe counter hit launcher. So don't discount that move. It's one of the best things that she has. If you want to try to interrupt them, that's a great way to do it and get your combos. Her down 1 is a nice mid chop. But on counter hit, you get a knockdown to the ground and a guaranteed up back 4 to follow up with it. This is a pretty good move. Nice range. Forces them into crouch. Surprisingly good range. Its counterpart with down 2 is an upward punch. Probably about the same range. This also lets her go into Harrier options from there. So those are pretty good long-range mid punches. You can't get enough of those. That's all good stuff. So the down 1 on counter hit gets a free follow-up kick. The down 2 on counter hit is a launcher. So those are both really strong options. Long-range mid punches that either get you extra damage or a combo. Great stuff. Down 4 is generic. Pretty generic down 4. It's not plus anything on hit, so she can get blown up if you continue offense from there. Just be careful. Down 3-3 and down 3-4 are 2 options of this low poke string. You can see the down 3-4 is not natural. Oh, neither of them are natural. So the mid will be -12 on block, and the 3-4 is a safe high that they can duck. So again, another classic paradigm. Most characters have it like this. The high is safe, and the mid is unsafe. So in Katarina's case, this is -12. That's more like it. A lot of our other stuff, the mid is much safer than the norm. This is pretty normal. The mid option is -12. So it's not bad. They're not going to duck this 100% of the time. They know that the mid will exist. You can kind of just do this without worrying too much about the consequences. I would do the down 3-4 more often. But again, if you see an opponent that does start to duck this, you have to keep them honest with the mid. Or just do nothing. Use that to poke by itself, which might be the best option of all. So low poke, mix up string. Pretty straightforward. 2 both pretty solid generic low pokes in down 3 and down 4. Down back moves are all big, slow knockdown lows. Down back 3 is that. It's pretty good in the crush department. It's going to go right under a lot of things, and it's fairly fast. It's not an easy move to see and react to. Get a nice knockdown, but it's going to be launch punishable on block. Just like down back 4, which is a good bit slower, and eventually players can see this and react to it, just like any other snake edge type attack. But this is a full combo. Gets the knockdown, and you can pick them up for the combo off of that one. This is also homing, just like Brian's Snake Edge. So it is slow enough that the human brain can see it and react to it once you've gotten used to its animation. So down back 3 is a little bit quicker, the basic knockdown. Down back 4 is a little bit slower, but gets you a full combo. Down forward 3+4 is faster than both, and has that quick little poke in the ankles. This has a silly amount of range to it. Look at that. That's from half a world away she can hit you with that kick. Goes under highs immediately, and probably most mids. She's practically laying on the ground when that hits. So that's a really good crush tool at a distance to keep them away from you and hit them low. You can also get the same kick out of a full crouch position by doing down forward 4. Full crouch down forward 4 results in basically the same animation. It doesn't quite reach as far though. The standing version reaches really far because of the way she kind of crawls forward onto the ground. God, that reaches so far. Look at that. Whew, I have to be like 5 back dashes away. So that's a really good low to throw out there. If you get that one on counter hit, you should also get your up back 4 for free. That was 42 damage off of a counter hit from a low that they're never going to realize that hits them. They think they might just come at you with a nice long range move, and that'll stop them dead in their tracks more often than not. So that's also a really, really good low poke. Down forward, 3+4. Also will be launch punishable on block if they guess it right, but they're not going to be able to see that and react to it very well at all. So if you need a safe in close range low, down 3 and down 4 both do the trick. Down back 3 and 4 are much bigger and beefier. And down forward 3+4 I think is probably the best overall, because it's still fast and the potential is very big for catching the hits off of it. For her back inputs, she has the back 1 strings we went over before. Back 1-2 is a little natural combo. Safe on block, mid-mid. Back 1-1 is also safe on block, but it isn't natural. You'll see this used for wall carry because she palms them so high up into the air. It's a nice little trick to get the rest of the way to the wall. So 2 mid-mid strings that are safe. Not bad. And she can also just do a single back 1 into Harrier that way. That also works pretty well just to keep pressure on. As I said before, that might be her best overall Harrier pressure because it's safe mid. It's very quick, hard for them to react to. So back 1's a pretty good tool. Start throwing out both of these strings so they get used to that rhythm because they're both safe. And then start canceling into Harrier and go low like that. You'll keep them guessing all day. Back 2 is a big swinging uppercut, which is -12 on block, which isn't all that bad, but she gets a combo off of it. Whoa, what happened to my 2 button there? She can combo that way. So that's an interesting tool. She does take a little bit of a step back with a big sweeping uppercut. This isn't fast, but if you catch it just right, you can go right through their attacks, take a little step backwards, then pop them for it, at only a minimal risk of -12. So that's not a bad tool overall. And get a combo that way. Not bad. Back 3, can't say enough about. That's a really, really fast mid poke. I think this is 12 frames to start up. You can't say enough about a far-reaching mid that's safe at 12 frames like that guy. So just think about the potential of both of these. Just all of your jab strings that you have, the 1-1-2s and the frame traps and the safe mids, to just range them back out with things like the back 1 and the Harrier pressure and the back 3, those are a really good set of tools. Those are nice, pokey, up-close moves that'll push her a little bit far out each time to stay in a more dangerous kind of setup range. To be able to use your hop kick at range and to be able to space them out with stuff like that. So you can't say enough about back 3 either. That's a really, really good mid poke. Back 4 is a little bit slower and is very unsafe on block, but this will also launch them on counter hit. That counter hit gets you the same crumple stun in a combo that way. So it is worth doing, but it's a lot of characters are going to be able to punish that at -14. It's not as good as you might like, but still pretty good. No, nice, good range on it. That's about 2 backdashes. She can fish for the counter hit that way. It's got about the same range, honestly, as down forward 4, which is safe. So I would tend to stick to that more often. Back 4 is there, but I think it's just outclassed by down forward 4. The other option for back 4, instead of just fishing for the counter hit, is 1+2 and get you that headbutt. That is a natural combo. Doesn't need to be counter hit. If they block it, that headbutt is a high, just like the normal one that they can duck. But that's going to be a pretty good reaction from an opponent to be able to just duck that all day. It's not a very, uncommon looking kick. It kind of just looks like everything else, It looks just like that. It's a basic, straightforward kick. If they do recognize it and duck it, yeah, you're going to get in trouble. But not a bad tool. If you can use this by itself to fish for counter hit or throw out the headbutt, which will mix up their timing enough and keep them from counterattacking you reliably. So that's pretty nice damage for a natural combo from that range. You start doing that and they realize it's there, and then you start doing nothing. They're not going to be able to punish that because they're not used to what you're going to do after that. As far as her jumping attacks go, we have the basic hop kick, up forward 4-4, 4-4-4, and all its variations. Up forward 3 is a flip kick that also launches. I don't see where it's all that practical. You're going to get the combo the same way off a basic hop kick, and this is much more negative on block. It'll have better crush properties, I suppose. She goes down to the ground pretty quickly, so it'll go under highs, but so does that. She takes a little duck before the hop kick anyway. I wouldn't use a hop kick just to try to crush a jab in the first place. So up forward 3 might be a little bit better at that, but I don't think it's worth the negative risk. I would just stick to hop kicks anyway, but it's there. Up forward 3 exists. Up back 4 is this little swing kick. Hits and grounded, good for keep away tool, but unsafe on block on the ground. Not great for a basic offense thing. This is mostly just your follow-up. If they don't get up correctly at the wall, or you get a nice knockdown off of your down 1, up back 4 is what you use. Up forward 3 plus 4 is that little number, which is kind of interesting. Natural combo, knockdown, crushes lows very well. And minus 10 on block, which is also pretty good. Everybody should be able to jab that, but that's not too bad. That's a decent trade-off. For a move that's got the evasion like that and the range, minus 10, pretty good. So jumping attacks are a little bit of hit or miss. Up forward 3 is kind of outclassed by up forward 4-4. And up forward 3 plus 4 is a nice little catch 'em by surprise tool. She has a couple of moves out of forward inputs. We mentioned forward 2-4 is a 12 frame natural combo high. Kind of hard to use out in the open, but if you get used to how quick it is and when to stick it in, it's a pretty nice move. It's generally easier just to do 2-2, but it does exist if you want to cover a little bit more range. So forward 2-4 is a high knockdown. Forward 3 is that overhead mid kick that causes the hard knockdown at the wall. And you should get that, maybe not guaranteed, but on most opponents you're going to hit them with that. They can get up in time, but if they're not on the ball, you can fish for that to get extra damage. On counter hit, her forward 3 will give you a full combo. You should be able to pick them up with a down forward 1, but not everything. Your choices are kind of limited here. You can't use your down 2 like you normally would. I'm not quite sure what else will work, but I know down forward 1 picks them up that way for a comp. And forward 4 is a homing move. Nice, good range to it. It's minus 12, but I think she's going to push you back pretty far. You're going to have a hard time punishing that with 12 frames because of the immense pushback on it. It's not the fastest homing move, so that's, again, another drawback she has. Her power crush and her homing moves are generally weak. It's up to her to stay in the range that she wants to be in, where she doesn't need those moves as effectively. Her while standing moves are pretty straightforward. The 1-1 that we mentioned earlier, 13 frames into the Harrier mix-up. While standing 2 launches you at 15. While standing 3 has the same hit confirm properties. Just do 3 of them, and as soon as you see it hit, mash out the rest. While standing 4 is normal. And full crouch down forward 4 is that nice long range low poke that she has. Not as good, not as rangy as doing it from standing, but still pretty good range. So just to recap, her only homing moves are forward 4 with mid and down back 4 with the seeable low. So those are pretty weak. In general, those are not the best class of homing moves, but you want to keep your opponent pinned down enough that they're not going to try to step in the middle of what you're doing. You keep their rhythm off balance. And you're far enough away, you don't want to just throw things out that they could see it and step anyway. So you don't necessarily need them with this kind of character's game plan, but you also wish you had better ones for sure. Her only screw attacks, they're also pretty limited. 2-2 will do it. Down forward 2-4 is a screw attack. The forward 2-4 that we mentioned, it's also a screw attack, and the homing move will screw attack. You don't really use that in the combo either. It's generally too slow. And you don't get it off a counter hit out in the open like you do with a lot of screw attacks. So you're pretty much stuck with 2-2 or down forward 2-4 as your main screw attacks. Katarina's launchers are all of the straightforward variety. She has the hop kick and the flip kick and stuff like that. So there's not anything remarkable in there. A couple of them have some unique combos that you follow them up with, but nothing out of the ordinary. Up forward 4-4, as we mentioned, the 2 hits gets you the bounce state, and you can follow up from there. I'm going to turn off the standing block. That doesn't really help at this point. 2 hits gets you the combo, no problems. If you want to do the 4th hit, you can, and then follow up from there, but I really wouldn't recommend it. There's no point. If it's going to get blocked, they're going to interrupt you from doing that 4th hit. I think you're generally better off to just do the 2 and get a better combo from that rather than worrying about hedging your bets by continuing the string. I don't think it's worth anything. So up forward 4-4 gets you as good a combo as you could possibly want off of it. To the wall like that. Back 2 is a little bit weird because you can't get that same big down 2. You kind of have to just do a basic combo that way. Either down forward 1 or do the 4-4 stuff in the air. Up forward 3 will be the same way. You don't really get a typical launch from it because they hit the ground too quickly. So back to the swinging uppercut and the up forward 3. Those are the two that you kind of have to adjust your combo from. And the simplest thing that I do is just 4-4-4, 2-2. That tends to work pretty well. 52 damage and 6 hits. That's fine. I would just stick to that personally. 4-4-4, 2-2. Forward 3 on counter hit works the same way as these other two. You can pick them up with a down forward 1 like I mentioned previously, or you can use the same 4-4-4. Like this. Oh, just missed it. 4-4-4, 2-2. That works that same pickup there. Even though it looks like it shouldn't, they're in a crumple state on the ground. 4-4-4, 2-2 works well. Anything else while standing 2 is the same as those. You don't get that big. You want to get that palm strike if you can. Otherwise, just do 4-4-4, 2-2. Down back 4 will let you get the palm strike. So the hop kick, the down back 4, and all of her crumple stuns will let you get that combo which you want. Otherwise, 4-4-4, 2-2 is about as easy as it gets for combos. The other launcher that she has will be the third hit of 1-1-4, like that. If they start to duck your frame trap, you get that third hit. That's all she has for standard launchers. She relies more often on her counter hit launchers, which are pretty good. The Magic 4 works like that. I tend to just throw out the second hit, because once you connect it, 2-2 is easy. And just like the other combos we mentioned, the third hit also works. And then 2-2 that way. So you can throw those out, 2 hits or 3 hits, and combo off of both of them. It's up to you. Use them both. Keep the opponent guessing as to your rhythm. So her Magic 4 gets a slightly different combo, but a pretty easy, good combo nonetheless. Down forward 4 on counter hit is a crumple stun. Lets you do the palm strike combo like that. And back 4 gets you the same crumple stun. Palm strike combo. And then the palm strike itself, down 2, also causes the crumple stun. So those are 4 pretty good counter hit launchers all around. The only one that's unsafe is the back 4, and even then, you don't have to worry about its existence. Down forward 4 is so good, you could just use that. Down 2 is really good and safe. You could use that. And her Magic 4s are safe for the second and the third hits. Use any of those. Fantastic counter hit launchers. And that's really what she wants. She wants to use these jab strings, the frame traps, and the mix-ups, the possibility of Harrier. Do I finish the next string? What am I going to do? Or do I just fish for the counter hit? That's where you're going to get a lot of your success, is from mixing up your poking offense and getting those counter hits whenever they come out. When you do that enough, you're going to keep them scared of those if they're not even going to see lows coming. Lows are going to turn into free damage for this character because they're going to be so scared of you baiting them into these mid counter hits. So as far as the combos go, we saw the most straightforward one is down 2, down forward 1, into screw attack. Down 2, down forward 1, screw attack. Oh, I missed it. You can either do 2-2 or down forward 2-4. Doesn't really make a difference. Oops. Hop kick, down 2, down forward 1, down forward 2-4. I missed it again. That's weird. That's pretty much the combo you get off the best ones, the hop kick and the sweep, and your counter hit crumple stuns. They'll all result in that combo. Down 2, down forward 1, down forward 2-4. Use that when you can. Otherwise, the ones that we mentioned, like up forward 3, 4-4-4, 2-2 is your go-to combo. And that's pretty much all you're ever going to do. There's not a whole ton of reason to do stuff other than that. The only thing would be to preserve your screw attack till you get to the wall break, for example. And you could do things like down 2, down forward 1, and then just jab stuff like that. Or you can use the Harrier options, like that, to push them towards the wall. Or stuff like that. You know what I mean? Go into Harrier and use the high jab that way. So you can use Harrier to push combos a little bit further or do the back 1-1 stuff. Like that. That's all the way to the wall without having used up my screw attack. It's just a bunch of hits. So other than the trying to preserve your screw attack, the palm strike with down 2, a down forward 1, and your screw attack is the basic combo. You're going to end your combos with the Harrier stuff in general, so you could use the Harrier stuff to preserve your screw attack. That's the only real variation you're going to see. The main combo ender will look like this. Whoops. Down forward 1, down 2, into Harrier 4. So it starts with a down 2 and a down forward 1, and it ends with a down forward 1, down 2, and then you go to Harrier 4 for the last little bit of damage. So the whole combo again looks like this. Down 2, down forward 1, screw attack. Run up, down forward 1, and then down 2 to Harrier. I missed it. I don't play this character very often. There it is. And then the wall combo for 91 off of that sweep. That's a huge amount of damage. To say the least, the wall carry is pretty simple. You can use the screw attack halfway or get almost the same wall carry by preserving that screw attack. So that's what you're going to do almost all the time. As long as you've done your screw attack by hit number 4, you can do a down forward 1, down 2, Harrier 4 to end your combo. If not, you could just do the down 2 to Harrier by itself if you're 1 hit extra. It's up to you. The other wall carry option you could do is run up to the screw attack, do a down forward 1, and then the back 1-1. That'll get you a little bit more wall carry than using the Harrier, but at the expense of some damage. You'll see that once you're like at a certain distance away, you're going to realize that doing the Harrier will get you there. Like that. Almost got there right away from 20 feet out, and in a combo with Harrier 4 has got pretty good wall carry itself and has excellent damage. So you want to use that where you can. The trick is to not land too close. If you land too close, she won't recover in time to hit them off the wall splat. So that would be the advantage of doing back 1-1, is you can run up the rest of the distance pretty easily. Harrier can be a little bit tricky because of her own follow through. So play around with that and learn to judge your distance. You'll see it pretty quickly. It's not all that hard to do. Her wall enders, again, are pretty straightforward. You're going to either pick between the raw damage or the ground setup. Let me set it to restart at the wall. Oh, it's going to put me all the way back at the top. Basically, you do the same ender that you just did. You want to do a down forward 1-1 into Harrier. The reason you want to do down forward 1-1 instead of just a single down 2 is the grounded state. The down forward 1-1 takes a little bit more time. If you like, I'm going to use 2-2 to cause the wall splat. In the first case, I'll do down 2 into Harrier 4. Those 53 damage. And this time I'll do down forward 1-1 into Harrier 4. 59 damage. The difference is the little bit of extra slump allows the Harrier 4 to hit them in that grounded state. And you can see the damage scaling says 60%. Oops. They've technically hit the ground, and so damage scaling resets, and the Harrier 4 does more damage right there. So the basic damage combo at the wall is just down forward 1-1 and hold forward into Harrier 4. That's as simple as it gets. You could also do something like the 3-3-3-3. Not quite as much damage, but also very easy to do if you want. Pretty sure that breaks the floor. That causes that spike. That last hit should break the floor underneath you. I'm not 100% sure. I never tested it, but I think it does. The other thing that you can do is the stomp with down 3 plus 4. That's not that much damage, but if they don't get up quickly, they're vulnerable to one of those. Just like that. That up back 4 will hit them on the ground if they don't do anything. If they get up too slowly, it'll wall splat them again. The only way, I think they have to just stand straight up and block. Otherwise, they're going to get hit by that. So that's a nice option to get the pressure going, force them to stand up the right way. And once they start standing up the right way, all they're doing is letting you mix them up again. So those are your basic options at the wall. The simplest damage one, down forward 1-1 into Harrier 4. The 3-3-3-3-3-3 for almost as much damage in the floor break. And the down 3+4 stomp for the wake up options. That's pretty much it. If you're at the wall and you need to break it again, you didn't just get there, you could do forward 2-4, for example, or another 2-2. Either one of those will break the wall when you get there. So that's pretty much it for her combo system. There's nothing crazy about it. It's simple, it's easy to do, and it gets really good damage for low execution. You can't say enough about that either. She's got a couple of really good moves that are excellent in neutral. She's got really good combo damage from anywhere on the map. Katarina's rage arts are nothing out of the ordinary. It's just 3+4. Got pretty good range. She takes a little swing kick. It's nothing remarkable. It's just like anybody else's. The 20 whatever frame startup, launch punishable on block. Her rage drive comes out of Harrier. It is 1+2. I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to use that, to be honest, because I've seen some combos that end with that do a huge chunk of damage, and a lot that don't. So I almost feel like if you get a last-minute hit off the grounded state, like if you end the wall combo, as we saw before with that move, you might get extra damage. I'm not quite sure how to work that just yet. I feel like that might be the difference to reset its scaling, so to speak, by using it at the wall. Yeah, that's why right there. So when you get to the wall combo and you end with that down forward 1-1 into Harrier, which as we mentioned allows them to slump into the ground, you do your rage drive there and it hits them with more damage. So that combo turned into what, 109? Just off the hop kick. That's not the way to get there. Let's try this. 111. Yeah, that's the trick to it. The rage drive by itself isn't all that good. Out in the open, you can use it for the plus frames out of the Harrier mix-up, but it's slow enough that I think they can jab you out of that one still, so you got to be careful. You could just do it by itself, just Harrier into that thing and catch them off guard, but as a combo ender, you have to use it at the wall. It won't give you anything mid-combo, no like extra screw attack or anything like that. It's a combo ender. And if you do it at the wall, it gives you a huge chunk of damage because of that grounded state situation. 114 was the most I could get. That's pretty big. That's a big chunk of damage off of a basic hop kick or anything like that if you get to the wall. So out in the open, it's not as great. At the wall, it's pretty amazing. So that's the trick to using it, is ending it with down forward 1-1 into the rage drive that way. So that's pretty much it. There's everything she has is pretty straightforward in its use and applications. She just has a couple of things that set her up well. The jab string mix-ups and the really long range tricky lows. Both of those work together to keep your opponent annoyed and unable to guess you correctly, to fish for your big counter hits. And you get those big counter hits, you're going to get some big damage when you get to that wall, and you're going to get amazing damage if you have your rage drive and wall breaks and all of that stuff. So that's a pretty simple character. Turns out to be really effective when you understand Tekken well and you know what you're doing. She's not a low-level gimmick entry character. She's easy to pick up, but not all that hard to master, and she maintains being a solid character at higher and higher levels. It's kind of surprising how easy it is and how effective she can be when you know the game well. So I think that pretty much covers it. Any changes or any new tech that I find, I'll put in the description down below so you can read it there. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in once again. You can follow me live on Twitch, check YouTube videos or Twitter or anything like that at Mastermind 6000. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.